All right, welcome back for another episode of Ordinary Guys Bourbon. Today on the program, very special friend of mine, Ken Pluff.
Hey Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Couldn't be better.
So Ken, you and I have gone back as friends for at least 10 years, right?
Yeah.
We were at Livonia together, right? We were at Rawsonville together,
Yep.
right? We jumped in this Rivian electric
Wonderful.
vehicle
Yep.
adventure
Yes,
together. But you've had a very interesting life before that. Tell me about some of those adventures you've had.
I've been around. Believe it or not, I'm older than I look. I started at Ford Motor Company in August of '90, and until I met Dave and we jumped to another company. But I've been through several different facilities, several different positions, and have quite a few odd hobbies, motorcycles, boats, things like that.
So let's talk about that for a little bit. You were a boat racer
Yes.
in the Gulf of Mexico, St. Clair River, right?
Yes. Yep.
Or Lake St. Clair? Is it Lake St. Clair?
It's actually St. Clair, the river.
St. Clair, the river.
Yep.
And what kind of class of boats was that?
It was class 1. It was a 38-foot Talon with twin big blocks blown.
So how fast would you guys go?
That boat, if you turned the outdrives, spun them the right way, and geared it the right way with the right props, it would do 175
That's miles an hour?
miles an hour.
It's like a knots or something like that?
Nope.
What is that?
75. I forget what the ratio is, but it's what marine people use to
Why can't they just use
measure
miles?
their speed. I don't know. It's kind of like hair speed, you know. I don't know.
You never got into an accident?
No, we knocked the back left side corner off the boat once when we went into a corner and a wave hit it just the wrong way and ripped the back of the boat off.
Is that what causes most accidents on boats? Is it when they're turning and they got waves coming?
There are no brakes.
Yep.
And you can't, you don't know for sure how the waves are gonna affect the boat.
Okay.
And some boats, if they're in the right conditions, will turn on a dime, and some boats might hit a wave the wrong way and not turn.
Sometimes you see the boats, they take off and they just, not the turn, they just get the wind right off the bat.
They're getting up on plane.
Okay.
And there's a few different factors that go into that. The trim, the outdrives. We had a tunnel plate on the back of our boat that would
Tunnel
help.
plate?
Yeah, it's like the back of a wing on an airplane, and you would adjust it, and it would get air under the boat and give it lift.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's above the water? Or that's
Yes.
in the water?
No, it's above the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you also spent time you had a landscaping enterprise
Mhm.
as well. That was in Florida, right?
Yep. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love cutting grass.
I know.
Smell
I
of
love the
grass.
smell of it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the grass in Florida doesn't smell the same as the grass in Michigan.
It's that weird, like,
It's
crab
weird.
grass.
It is. It's crabgrass.
Yeah.
It's not Michigan grass.
You know, this is our 5th episode of the program.
Yes.
And you may recall, no one out there will know this, but we recorded this the first time in October
Yes.
2024.
Yep. We've come a long way.
And-
Learned a lot.
You know, and that's the thing, we continue to learn. I think the first 2 episodes that we released, I think people had a hard time hearing the audio,
Yes.
the spoken word over some of the smooth jazz that I had peppered in there.
Yep.
On the 3rd episode that came out, I'm learning how to do editing, right?
Yes.
And I think the video was like 8 or 9 minutes long, but I had accidentally put some of that smooth jazz again, like 15 minutes into the video as I was editing it. And then, apparently, like YouTube, when I converted it, it just made a 19-minute video.
There you
so
go.
10 minutes of it's
Yep,
enough.
bonus.
But I noticed that some of the video was a little bit sketchy,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it looks fine when we're looking at it on the phone afterward, right?
Yes.
But episode 4, which will come out right before this one, this will be episode 5, was the first in 4K. Right?
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that means anything.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying it out.
What are we up to now? Like 8K?
Right?
12K?
You mean on this?
No. In real life.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I thought 1080p was something. I don't know.
The LED.
LED?
Yep.
I don't know. But it's interesting because it kind of ties back to what you were saying about how you started Ford in 1990. I was looking around. I mean, there's a couple other. I mean, there's a lot of other bourbon review channels.
Yes,
a lot of them
absolutely.
are fantastic.
Yes,
I mean, they're fantastic.
absolutely.
And I was looking at some of the people that I watch regularly, and just looking at comparison. So, Ordinary Guys, we started officially. Our first video came out in February of 2025, right? So, and we're still in February. We do have 17 subscribers right now.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
We posted, or we're about to post our 4th video. This will be number 5. Over 300 views. I think we're doing okay,
Yeah, not
right?
bad. Yeah.
But then you look and stack it up against some of these other people that are doing, like I said, great reviews. There's a guy, 2 guys, Bourbon Junkies, Sean Paisley and Dan Shook. I watch these guys. They've got a lot of knowledge, right? And they're like, you watch their videos, and I mean, they're animated, right? So I mean, it keeps you involved.
Yeah.
I think we're a little more subdued.
Yeah.
In our conversation.
Yeah, we're a little laid back.
But these guys, Bourbon Junkies, they started in December 2008.
Okay.
That can't be right. Maybe December 2018, right?
Yep.
135,000 subscribers, 1,300, almost 1,300 videos. Like,
wow.
we gotta start there. We gotta start drinking more,
it, yeah.
right? 33.8 million views.
Wow.
These guys are killing it.
Yes.
Young guys.
Okay.
Young guys.
Yep.
I'll put a link in the description with some of these. There's a guy, SLB Drinks. It's a father-son duo.
Okay.
Right? I don't know what SLB stands for. They started in November 2019, 169,000 subscribers, 667 videos. So they're not drinking quite as much, I guess.
Right.
33.5 million views. That's my dad's favorite program.
No
Right?
kidding.
He likes SLB Drinks.
All right.
Hopefully not more than Ordinary Guys Bourbon, but
He's probably a little biased.
you know, it's a nice calm show, right?
Yes.
But there's a guy, Cameron Leach. He has a program called Drums and Drams. He started in October 2020. He's a professional drummer and percussionist, as well as a bourbon aficionado.
Right.
11.2 thousand subscribers, 462 videos, 1.16 million views.
Wow.
So, you know, I got 300,
yeah,
right?
you're on your way.
Just starting.
Yep.
Just starting. But again, I think all of these content providers, I'll throw links in the description. They're all fantastic, and you watch the production quality of their video.
Right.
And I mean, the lighting is spot on,
Mm-hmm.
right? The sound is fantastic.
Yep.
Right? The set is better. I mean, we've got some end tables,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Some
we're doing
Amazon chairs.
well.
We're
Yeah.
starting off,
Yeah.
right? But really fun to watch those different programs and see what they have to offer. Hey, let's talk about Old Tub.
All right.
Okay, so
Yes.
Old Tub, this is, as you know, one of my favorites,
Mhm.
right? Did a little bit of research, and I don't even know if this research is correct. This is a Jim Beam product, right?
Okay.
Jim Beam is a giant. They're on their 7th and 8th master distillers in the Beam family name.
Mhm.
It's impossible, really, to question the heritage of the product. The interesting thing, though, is so they started. I think the first distilling was in like 1795, right, from Jacob Beam. But originally, their first name was Old Tub. This is the name of the first company. And it was called Old Tub until 1943, when now familiar Jim Beam, distiller, its 4th generation, changed the name to Jim Beam. Prior to 1880, it was sold to people who came to the distillery with an empty bottle to fill. That's kind of cool.
Kind of like a milkman.
Exactly, right? Here's my bottle, fill her up. What is Old Tub? It's an unfiltered bottle and bond, so it's 100 proof, right?
Yes.
It's what's the foundation of what became the world's #1 whiskey, right? It's unfiltered, it's aged 4 years, it's got a high corn mash bill without getting too technical,
Yeah.
right? It was re-released in June of 2020 in what was called a limited edition tribute to the Beam family's oldest brand. For a while, this was only available at the distillery in Claremont, Kentucky, but since then, I mean, I think I picked this up at Binny's, so it's widely available.
What's the price point on that?
This is like a $30 offering,
All right.
so $30. It's got that history of Jim Beam, right? A lot of these stories go back, and it's they're like woven in the family, and this name was dusted off. I think there's some legitimacy to this story. I mean, the product used to be called Old Tub,
Yep.
right? And really, well, let's just get after it,
All right.
right?
I'm ready.
So first sample, neat. Second sample is with ice and water, I think is how you
Okay.
take it,
All right.
right?
Yes, sir.
Cheers to you, Ken.
Cheers, sir.
There's something fantastic. about recording one of these programs at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, yes. It gets your day going.
Yeah.
Great way to kick off a Sunday.
And it's, I think maybe I should start reducing the amount of bourbon I drink every day.
Mm-hmm.
But, like we were talking about with these other channels, maybe I need to increase the number of
obviously, yeah. The
So,
more you do, the more successful.
Yeah. So let's, here's the one, any way you want.
All right.
Just tastes so good.
Yeah,
It just tastes
that's
so good.
refreshing.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the scoring.
All right.
So we've got our little cheat sheets here from when we did this before, but I don't think we need to necessarily look at that so much because let's keep it pure,
Okay.
right?
Yep. What do we got? What do we have for scoring here?
So heritage is the first category, right?
Mhm.
Maximum score is 20.
Okay.
Okay. So you think about this product. I'm not trying to influence your score. You
No.
do you,
Not at all.
right? But you've got a product that was re-released in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This was allegedly the original recipe that was used, and a throwback to the name that Jim Beam actually started as,
Right.
Old Tub. And the history of Jim Beam, obviously, like I said, going back to 1795, the first distilling of Jacob Beam, certainly has an 8th generation of family master
They
distillers.
know what they're doing.
So I think Heritage, they probably have a good bit there, right?
Yes, sir.
Then the second category is taste and drinkability. Maximum score on this is 40.
Okay.
Okay. Affordability is the next category, and like I said, I think this is about a $30 bottle.
Okay.
It depends. I think in Michigan it's like 32, 34, right? In Illinois, they'll say 26, but then there's some extra tax,
Yep.
right? And then bottle design is our last one. Design not only the bottle but the label and how they're marketing their wares.
Right.
Dude, when Vince was on, he pulled out a calculator to do that.
I may need that.
It's no hurry.
Oh, you're adding yours on, boy.
Well, maybe my math might be wrong. So you've lived in Michigan, in Florida, Illinois. Did you live in Ohio?
No.
Or you were so close to the
I
border?
frequented Ohio several times, yes.
But those are the main places that you lived at. Anywhere
Yeah.
else?
Oh, no.
And what was your favorite place?
Definitely Florida.
Definitely.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with the hurricane threat and the humidity?
Yes. Luckily, I was not in Florida when one of the major hurricanes hit the coast.
Which one was that?
There's been quite a few in recent times. When I was there, they were hurricanes. When they would get closer to the coast, they would get knocked down to tropical storms.
Okay.
So,
But your daughter lives down there right
yes.
now, right?
Yep.
My daughter lives down there,
Yep.
right? I don't think very close. Mine's in like
no, yours is in
Orlando.
central, northern. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's in southwestern Florida.
Okay.
Yep. Fort Myers area.
Huh. Do they get more susceptible to hurricanes
Yes.
in south?
Yes.
There was one that came through a couple years ago that knocked out, what was that
Yes.
island that knocked out the causeway to get to it?
Sanibel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Tore it right off the
Gone.
gone.
Were there multiple bridges that went to that island, or was it just the one?
There are no. There's actually only one going to Sanibel. So that when they took that down, it was difficult.
You know what we could have done
What's that?
if we went back in time?
Hmm.
We could have operated a ferry service.
Ferry?
But I meant to say, going back in time, Ordinary Guys Bourbon. You remember when I came up with the idea of having this bourbon
I do.
show?
Yes.
And I had to look back. So it was sometime before 2019
Mm-hmm.
because it was when I was in the center area in
Yeah.
Bologna.
Yes.
Right? And so you think about these guys that we were talking about earlier that have all these subscribers and all
Right.
this video content.
Mhm.
I mean, and they're fantastic. They're all started around that time or later.
Right.
Right. Had I actually done the program when I started the idea, came with the idea, instead of waiting for 6-7 years to start this.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20.
A little bit of a different story.
Yeah, you can't live in the past.
But you know what? We're doing it now.
Yeah.
We're learning as we go. We're doing it now.
Yeah.
Let's go through your scores.
All right.
So Heritage.
Heritage. I gave it a 16 out of 20.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, I like the fact that they brought back one of the original recipes.
I like that too. I give it a 17, so very close.
Okay.
I think, really, as we talked about this, what could have gotten it up to a 20 is if you were still allowed to bring an empty bottle to the distillery and have it filled
Now,
up.
you may still be able to do that.
Would that be sweet?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Laura and I have been to the distillery. They have they've got a lot of these distilleries have a lot of events, and we've been there a couple times. They have a Christmas dinner and tasting.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
And Fred No, who is the I think seventh generation distiller, master distiller, and his son Freddie, they narrate the dinner and the tasting. And I'll tell you what, I think we went to that 2 or 3 times, and it is the most enjoyable time in the world. Like,
oh yeah,
there's no pretentiousness, nothing stiff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking old stories about
like
your
you're part of the family.
and oh man,
you're at a family
it made you
Christmas
feel
party.
great.
Yep.
It made you feel great.
Yep.
But maybe if I take a bottle next time, I could have them refill it.
They might do that.
That'd be sweet. Taste and drinkability, maximum 40.
I gave it a 30.
30?
Just because I'm to be totally transparent, I am not a bourbon connoisseur. I do drink bourbon. I don't mind it. I'm more of a beer guy.
Yeah.
But part of the reason that I don't drink a lot of bourbon is because of the punch. You know, I'm not a liquor drinker.
That's right. That's
And
right.
this is surprisingly smooth, even neat.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't give. It's not like it has a lot of fire when you sip on it.
Well, and that's interesting because it is 100 proof, right?
Yes.
And I think normal, like your normal offerings, I think the baseline is 80, 90 proof, right? So this does have a little more hello to it.
Yes, it does.
But,
But it doesn't have that bite.
Doesn't hurt you.
No, it didn't. It was pleasant.
Affordability.
I mean, as far as bourbons go, this is a very affordable bottle.
It is.
Especially for, you know, somebody like myself who isn't a bourbon connoisseur that would take a drink of that and find it enjoyable. So I gave it a 25 out
That's
of
good.
30.
That's strong. I give it a 22.
Okay.
Right? So in the ballpark.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, in retrospect, maybe I should have gone higher on that, right? Because $30 for 100, you know, the 100 proof, you've got some Old Forester offerings, Wild Turkey, of course, Wild Turkey 101, one digit higher.
Yeah.
Right? But still, you know, but still for $30, that's a cheap price.
Yeah.
Design, maximum of 10 here.
Design, I gave it an 8, surprisingly. Just
talk about that.
The bottle isn't extravagant, right? But it also goes well with the heritage, the history, right? That looks like a bottle that if you would have walked into a saloon in the Old West, that would have been sitting on the counter.
It might have been.
It might have been. Absolutely.
I think I completely agree. I gave it a 5, which was a little low, but you know,
well, you've seen a lot of really crazy bottles because some of the bourbon bottles are beautiful. They're works of art.
Yeah. There's something about Old Tub. I love the name. I like the heritage, the throwback.
Yes.
Right. But I also think that it kind of makes you think that someone's making this in a bathtub. An old bathtub.
An old bathtub.
You know?
Cast iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old cast iron.
Those
bathtub
claw feet
with lead paint.
Yeah. Maybe that
a
adds
little
some
mercury
flavor.
thrown in there.
Yeah, that's some flavor.
Yeah.
Character.
Yeah.
So overall, I got a 76. You got yours up?
66.
And that's interesting because we've got our old score sheets from when we recorded this the first time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And so the first time we recorded this, I gave it a 60. I don't know what I was thinking. I was stingy, I guess.
Mine was a 68.
68. So you're in the ballpark,
close,
right?
yeah.
66, 68. I went up 16 points.
And
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I went down 2.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Yep.
All right, that's it for today's episode of Ordinary Guys Bourbon. Take care.